What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 22 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Karl Franz Old World campaign. You gotta admit, the area around Mortis Tarn looks really cool, doesn't it? With the warpstone crystals and the cursed bloody water and all of that. It's so festive. Anyway, as we saw last time, a bunch of fights, once again, including and in particular in Norska, where Boris Todbringer defeated Wulfhart the Wanderer in a nice one-on-one, and quite handily, I might add, considering they were at the same level and Wulfhart had his mammoth, whereas Boris had his griffin. Lovely to see, but, well, I guess having the air superiority is probably a good thing, but, you know, facing off against elephants or mammoths is a dicey proposition at best, even in the Warhammer world. Anyway, in terms of what we gotta do this time, I actually decided to end the turn between episodes so that I could do, let's say, most of the building, and move the heroes around and such, so that we could reduce the admin for this particular turn. So it's a brand new turn, is what I'm getting at, and everybody is gonna get to move. So, Karl, we're gonna start with you. As we do, Golden Monolith is gonna be the first target. This is a little Norscan faction that got revived. Out of curiosity, minus 260. Yeah, they immediately don't like gifts given to Ursan Revivalists. I wanted to double check with whether, just by virtue of the fact that this was a newly revived faction that only got up and running last turn, whether they might be neutral and we might get a Norscan ally, but it looks like it's not possible. Oh well, what can you do? Declare war, kill them, give the territory to the Ursan Revivalists. Like so, probably a minimal amount of XP for that one, but that's alright. Occupy. Lovely. Ooh, and we got a Gambler's Armor out of it. That's really good because we actually lack armor. Like, we've got a lot of different types of items, but armor is the one we're lacking for a lot of different lords. So it's certainly something we might want to focus on anyway. And Dolph, you're going to proceed to Kazadurkalaz, which is the capital by the looks out of these guys. And, ooh, hello. A capital with a lot of stuff in it. Oh, wait, stop. Are you able to reach this guy? You are not. You have to attack it directly. It does have a guardhouse. I'm gonna say besiege it. I'm more interested in fighting them in the field than in the close confines of them getting obliterated by the fire damage from the Bright Wizard. Granted, this army hasn't fought in, well, let's say too many of those types of battles as in the minor settlement battles, but let's face it, the AI is really bad at those, so let them at least have a chance in the field with the multiple stacks. Anyway, Governor Billings will ignore Gavin von Wolfen, however, we will not. You are going to... would it be faster to reach Gore Hornets? No, it looks like Redface Stronghold, then push onward towards the Immortals Hold. Alright, let's go in regular stance rather than whatever other stance we were in, Trenches stance. We'll leave Dead Rock Gap, we'll see if these guys decide to attack it or not. They might move back around to World's Edge Archway, but I'd really like to knock Grimgor out for good so that we don't have to deal with him. He only does have these 4 territories after all, and then if needed we can loop back southward for the Bloody Spears and the Drippin' Fangs, reclaim those realms for the dwarfs, though unlike the lie in the Thorgrim campaign where I said I wouldn't go into the Darklands, in this campaign we're actually not going to go into the Darklands much. I might send a little crusading army or a caravan army or something that way, just to have some fun battles, but not for the purpose of conquest. Anyway, Mr. Jürgen, I guess from your position, you're probably best off trying to... we still have so much village to work through, which is a bit of a shame. Only a shame in the sense that, you know, it's a lot of effort. It's a lot of effort, and we constantly will have to deal with his annoying army abilities. But at the very least, this faction will probably be destroyed rather quick at this rate. Oh, maybe we should push up this way. Wow, now they got more territory. Wow, how much territory do they have? What the heck? You're one of villages... 7 territories. Wow, not bad. Not bad, Gnarl Farlings. You know, we'll deal with that. I guess we can sort of go here, meet up with the territories of the Ancestral Throng and Boris, and then obviously continue to give Boris the territory. Anyway, we'll obviously auto-resolve this for obvious reasons. Occupy. Like so, Assault Expert, and then don't collect the income here and don't bother building anything because we'll be giving it away shortly. Governor doesn't need to move, but Waldemar Biber certainly does. It looks like you are not able to reach Roslyn Raynor, eh? What do we have at Celeb? Not well defended, pretty sparsely, so maybe we push towards Soleil. And I guess auto-resolve it. I'm a little bit concerned about this, but let's hope it doesn't damage our line infantry too much. Huh. You know what we could also maybe do? If we besiege it, I wonder if Silostra and then this little... Oh, no, they can't reach us. Okay, yeah, well then if they can't reach us, we're just gonna auto-resolve it. Goodbye. Yeah, basically no damage, and you get a banner of swiftness out of it. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Obviously not for you, because you're on a flying unit. That's for tanks and other ground units. What are you at, by the way, Mr. Engineer? Okay, you have the we are the elite, which was the important thing. I guess we'll want to get you Deadly Onslaught. Not that it matters all that much, admittedly. But anyway, the rest of that I'm sure is fine. Don't collect the income, do build... whatever, it doesn't really matter. Well, actually, it might matter. Build something, because we will be looking to trade that to the Bretonnians. They are still holding territory that is ostensibly ours. Anyway, Theodoric von Blutten, you have arrived, and we'll push on towards Myrmidons. And oh wow, look at these guys. They have survived. Huh. I guess we could give Myrmidons up to them. Although, do they only have the one territory? No, they have 3. They have more over here. And I take it this is their capital then? It is not. Huh, so we might be able to trade this away and then keep the rest of this territory for ourselves. Alright, fine. We'll see if we can't manage that one. Anyway, you will push towards Myrmidons, and I'm willing to bet you're gonna have to besiege it. Oh, yeah, they've got an army there. Yes, alright. That should be fun, especially since this is one of our weaker armies. Let's level you up. Let's also, just in case, build siege equipment. Although I'm 90% sure they'll sally out and attack us. Alrighty, what do we have here? We got 9 points to spend, should we desire to do so. Once again, I did intend to originally reset Theodoric, and I probably still will. So I guess the point distribution isn't super important right now. I guess what we could do, though, is go through Reassuring Presence and Irrepressible, and grab Lightning Strike. And then put 2 points in Devastating Charge as well. 127 charge. It's a little bit much, but it is what it is. Anyway, looks good to me. Who's up next? Elspeth, you are going back the way you came. Yes, we will still need to push towards the Crooked Moon, but with the rats all over this place and us being at war with them, it's probably more critical that we knock them out first. So go this way. Not even, obviously not really for our own territory, but for territory specifically that's going to the Karazakarak dwarfs. Although I guess there are our own territories here. I hope Belagar or Thorgrim, one of them, can do something about some of this stuff. Anyway, Emil von Corden, you are proceeding southward, I guess this way. I'm going to have to stop the Ramateb dynasty, who continues pushing down this way. I don't know how much territory they have. Either way, probably attack them, but also maybe start hitting the Barrow Legion from this direction, because we did want to take and or trade the territory up there, so might as well make use of it. Anyway, Leopold von Bildhofen, you are fine as you are. A recruiter does not need to move, but Marius Leitdorf? By Sigmar. You know what, take these 2 huntsmen, but, well... Yes. I guess we can move you this way. Alright, fine. I will move you this way for now, plus get you 2 Grand Cauldron regulars. Like so. I would like 2 more of the regular Ogre Bulls, but I fear we might not be able to get them. Start going this way. And then I guess Gustav... I might use you to help auto-resolve. You know what, and go down here. It can still function as an auto-resolve army to follow Gavin around. Well, frankly, could have done the same with Marius. I don't know why I decided to send you down there, but whatever. What I would also like to do is this. You, random tactician, get on field. And right before they die, we'll see if we can, but let's get the last of the units from the Iron Skins Ogre Bulls. I believe they have 1 territory remaining, and Zatan is on the verge of completely wiping them out. Really, really good work by Zatan. I mean, look at that. And the Slaneshi out here. I'm also starting to get worried about the Cathians as well. They are also at war with Zatan. Hopefully they don't lose their main territory. That would be really unfortunate for us. He is surprisingly not at war with the OG dwarfs. Hopefully, well, hopefully they all survive, because we need their units, and they are unfortunately a little bit too far away from us to help, though if our economy becomes bonkers, at some point we can start giving them a little bit of cash to help them out. Anyway, Gustav Schneider, I would like you to proceed up here, and just sort of keep an eye on what's going on here. Oh, there we go. Balthazar Gelt, you were going to take Bloodfen, which I guess we can just auto-resolve, like so. And you don't have war wagons, so you're free to auto-resolve. And occupy. Alrighty. And Balthazar has fought plenty of... let's do this. Balthazar has fought plenty of orcs, so it would be nice to fight something other than orcs. There is these ogres here, which we're not going to be friends with for obvious reasons. At least, well, after we're done dealing with these guys. Want to knock the bloody hands out, because if we don't, there's a very strong chance of them recovering by virtue of being orcs. Arch Recruiter Hartman, I would like you to get 2 more noble sons abroad. We are about to confederate again, and we need to... You know what? Oh, let's get these guys in here, just to recruit them, because we're about to reset this as well after we confederate. Anything else that's super critical to get on field? I mean, I guess we could get the Wissenberg's Welcomers. It's kind of costly. I don't really care about the Bretonnian units anymore because we have 1 billion of them now. I do kind of care about the Imperial Foot and Foot Reichsguard though, so we could do those. Good lord, that's expensive. Just in case we need to pop them into another army. Oh, actually, Leopold, you have upkeep production in own territory. Recruiter, no, okay, I think somebody, unless I'm mistaken... Not logistically minded, not defensive, not marksman commander, tactician? No, huh. Okay, I guess we don't have any of them to spare. There were some lords with a trait that made it cheaper to hold on to stuff of the Elector count state troops. But oh well. Do that. Still a little bit less expensive. I mean, admittedly, we don't suffer a lot of... I mean, it doesn't cost a lot right now anyway, but anyway. What else do we have here? We have the Drakvald Riders, the Knights of the Everlasting Light, as well as the Bordermen and the Gundermans. I mean, I guess we could still get some of the Gundermans in here. Oh, they're pretty good. Oh, we won't have space enough... Oh, wait, I picked the wrong guy. You and you. Like so, and there goes all of our cash, but it needed to be done, folks. And then we just have the Knights of the Everlasting Light, the Drakvald Riders. Now, those guys... Do we have space? I guess we do for now. Alright, so we'll put it in your army for an all-knightly army. I don't know how many of each type of knight we'll have, but there we go. We'll do that, and that brings all of that cash down to 0. 45,000 gold, and gone in a flash. But what can you do? We didn't need any spare Knights of the Everlasting Light in here, did we? No, we are good there, and I assume Von Kessel has his 4 as well, just to make sure, just to double check. Yes, he does. We'll also need to move him out. Also, so that I don't forget, let's unify. As for whom, I would assume that it's probably... Okay, I think it's Talabekland. What does Stirland give us? It does give us the enemy hero action success chance, but I admittedly care about Stir River Patrol a fair bit less than I care about the Sutzen's guns, which are magical mortars, and having more powerful mortars is a nice thing, it feels. Plus, Talabekland is... I don't know, they have a red territory in the sense that their territory is a red color scheme, and it kind of bothers me because it looks exactly like us, and it's kind of hard to tell. Whereas Stirland looks different. Oh, they're in tier 5 here. It looks like Stirland is also building up more than Talabekland is. Yeah, alright, fine, let's go with Talabekland. Mr. Feuerbach, that's you. So, unify, Talabekland. Perform. Horno is finally ours. But in some ways, Horno was always ours. Anyway, let's see. Kolsa Hills, Great Forest, and Ally loses outpost. There we go. Alright, you. Luther, whateverman. Custerman. Okay, don't like any of this, and you have no items. Ah, you do have 2 Citizens guns, though. That's real nice. We'll delete all of this because we don't need it. Yes, and we can build it at higher levels. And do you have any Citizens guns? Just the one? Oh, wow, what the heck is with the Empire Captains? Bannerman, no thank you. So you can be deleted. You are a... Nope. Huh. Maybe we keep... No, it's a waste. Oh, actually, we could keep the Champion. Now that we... Should we reset him? He's got 3 points in Sigmar's Ward, which is kind of a waste. Yeah, fine. Okay, we'll reset you, but we'll delete the other guys.
I will marshal the
Whatever their traits were. And we can keep the Knights of the Everlasting Light as well. So, you out. You out. What trait do you have, Mr. Helmet? You have defensive, which is actually a decent trait, so we might actually put you to use at some point. So we can delete all of this. And then we'll keep these. Are you guys able to sort of meet up so that we can swap those units around? So let's do this. And let's do this. And I think, or I assume that those are the only armies that you had? I believe so. Or at least no, I lied. You have no citizens' guns and no items, I take it. Methodical. Not a good trade either. At least not for our purposes here. So you can go away. And now I believe that's all your armies. Okay, so you, Helmet.
yes,
Trade. Well, citizens' guns also do fire damage as well with the Knights of the Blazing Sun, though I was thinking about starting the Knights of the Blazing Sun armies to the south, so now I'm not entirely sure. We'll see. We might have to. Reset all skills, yes. Alright, lovely, and then you can move somewhere. Now, we need to give somebody... Okay, what does it do again? Enables flaming attacks. Well, I guess that's going to be for whoever leads the Knights of the Blazing Sun army, isn't it? Although, I guess if we give them the Mace of Hellstorm, then it would be... Alrighty, who do we want to use for that particular purpose? Funnily enough, that guy's trait that we just deleted... Wait, are we able to make him... you know what? Because if the Knights of the Blazing Sun will have Eldred's Guard, that would be nice. Oh, on the other hand... Wait, I want to see what the Grandmasters do for them by comparison. Well, let's see what we got here. Do we have any Grandmasters around here? Okay, well, admittedly, we do not have any Grandmasters anywhere close. Yo, you're Grandmaster. Where's the Knights of the Blazing Sun? Here, so you've got 15% fire resistance. If it's a fire-centric army, then that should be pretty good. 50% charge bonus. Yeah, that's pretty solid. Oh, and weakness to fire damage, eh? Kind of interesting. Yeah, we'll need to then use somebody with armor or pedigree then because of Eldred's Guard and the fact that they have those Myrmidia shields. I was starting to build the Knights of the Blazing Sun here, though. I guess we could get them up and running down here as well to join the Knights Panther and the other stuff. Actually, it does make sense because the Knights of the Blazing Sun are in the lore an offshoot of the Knights Panther. So it does kind of make sense. Alright, well, either way, Helmet, for now at least, you're going to be the actual... actually going to stick around as the Elector count. Isn't it lovely? And Talabek Clan Runefang, good for you. You can keep that, and then I guess that means we can immediately... Do we start with 2? Yes, we do start with 2, but we don't start with as any money. Alright, let's see if moving anybody around will solve that situation for us. Leopold, you do not need to go anywhere at this current time. You look like a full army, which is kind of odd now. Huh. Actually, this isn't, this is kind of an interesting army now that I think about it. We got light cav, we got some grenade units, a little bit in the way of range damage. Huh. I might actually just give this army to somebody and let them do their thing somewhere. Maybe the guy that reduces the upkeep cost for the Elector State troops. Not that our money is in a bad situation anymore. Anyway, Gustel Schneider, you have been moved. Oh, it's out of order again. Alright, fine, fair enough. Baldric Stroam, and... these guys did not actually decide to sally out of Thessos, surprisingly. Meaning we gotta attack it, eh? Fair enough. And do we need to make this a cinematic? I mean, we can. There's a decent amount of stuff, and the Wolfkin are going to have to fight up on those walls. Why not? And, of course, this army isn't particularly geared towards fighting siege battles. Yeah, why not? Go. Alrighty, here we go. This army ain't really made for sieging like this, so let's see what we can do here. Fortunately, we did build the siege equipment, so we got the siege towers and the ram ready to go. Now, there are 4 siege towers and 1 ram, and we have 4 wolfkins. So we have 1 wolfkin that's on the ram, then 3 that are in towers, and then the 4th tower is carrying a unit of Gunderman's Surefires. The idea is to clear the walls, as best we can, and obviously send the Wolfkin up there and through the gate, and then get off the walls as quickly as possible and essentially fill up this entire area with Wolfkin, such that we can get all of our range units up on the walls. Since it's largely a direct fire army, with the exception of the 4 units of Huntsmen, and I guess the general as well, we need to actually get those units on the walls, or they will otherwise be pretty useless to us. And on top of that, Huntsmen have a really small amount of ammunition. They run out of ammo very surprisingly quickly, so it's better to allow our gun units to fire away as well. Anyway, the Huntsmen will continue firing away. 69 missile strength on them, though, pretty solid. Sure and true and bolstered marksmanship from the general, presumably. Helping them out a little bit. Anyway, our siege towers are still on the approach, and we're also moving the Hochland long rifles into position while the Wolfkin continue pushing that ram forward. They have, actually out of curiosity, they have a 30% missile resistance, which isn't too bad, I'd say, compared to 55%. Huh? Wait, what? 30%, that's the Wolfkin. 55%. That's interesting. Why do you have 55% missile resistance? Is this just a trait that that these guys generally have? The long rifles? Okay, I want to see. Where's the Gunderman Surefire's unit? Here we go. 70%. Good lord. Okay, that is in part from Dig In, however. Well, that's pretty good. I guess they can certainly win a range shootout. I didn't know that they had such a crazy amount of missile resistance, but good to know for future, well, just generally for the future. Anyway, the first of our siege towers have arrived and are disgorging their cargo in the form of the Wolfkin. The 4th and final siege tower is waiting a little bit before moving on in, because that's the one with the Erdgig Jaeger Corps. Our units will immediately rush off of those walls and engage the enemy, applying bleed with those great axes of theirs. We're also through the gate, and we'll start moving in with the other units of Wolfkin as well. And there we go. Looks like the setup is going fairly well already, in the sense that we are keeping the enemy off the walls, which is exactly what we wanted here. And the first of our range units are already making their way up on the walls. The Erdgig Jaeger Corps will lead. 70% missile resistance, pretty solid. And we got more of those range units coming in. Ooh, a few orc boys. Huh, it looks like they're trying to rush past the Wolfkin and get up on those walls, even with the Wolfkin blocking them. But hopefully not enough will make their way up here. You gotta be careful about that. Although I guess we do have friendly support coming in with the missile fire, as in the Huntsman still helping out those Altdorfer Schützen. Alrighty. And there we go, the first of our gun units are up on top of the walls now and will begin firing down upon the enemy, though it looks like our Wolfkin have cleared a decent a decent amount of orcs themselves. Of course, there's plenty more biggins and regular orcs where that came from, and our Huntsmen will continue to provide fire support for as long as they have ammunition. They're down to about half HP, minus 1 unit that got a restock in its from our hero. Yeah, certain armies, I mean, we've been saving a couple of those engineers' knapsacks that offer the restock ability. It'll probably be useful in a few armies. Anyway, our Wolfkin are obviously starting to take massive damage now. This army wasn't originally intended to have them do all the work in this manner, or at least most of the work in this manner, being fragile and flagellant-like units after all. And this one in particular is down to, what, 20% of its HP, which ain't so great. But more and more of our range units are making their way up there. And onto the other wall as well, and firing from various different directions. And the Huntsmen continue to support as well. Very nice. Alrighty, and with our units firing from different directions, that's going to be a pretty dangerous kill box that the enemy is going to have to wander in to get at those Wolfkin. Huh. And I'm noticing that the Wolfkin are taking... Huh, this one's at full HP? What the heck? Huh, it looks like, well, it seems to be a desync. Oh, I didn't check if this place had a... I didn't check if this place had a siege building. as in a garrison building, that would increase the HP of towers and such, which causes desyncs. I guess if it did, that's why these guys are at such low HP. Significantly lower HP than they were when I fought this, but otherwise everything else is going pretty okay. The enemy lord should have been dead at this point, but well, he's dead now. We still made our way up on top of those walls because we used our siege towers, and since no direct orders were given to the units up on top of those walls, those are the guys that are still firing away, and just fine by the looks of it. And it looks like most of the enemy army has shattered at this point. Well, maybe not most, but well, I'd say 80%. Will I count as most? Anyway. There are still a few remaining. Looks like a unit of Black Orcs heading down towards us, though that stagger shot's going to slow them down. Missing the suppression from the Null and Iron sides, but that's a little bit too fancy technologically as compared to the Hawkland stuff. There we go. And you would think that, you know, rifled barrels of the Hawkland long rifles obviously going to be more effective than smoothbore muskets like used by the handgunners, and they are, but historically, just like in our world, when rifling was invented, it took a long time before it became used widely militarily, because, you know, a single craftsman would have to spend a long time rifling that barrel, and it's kind of unrealistic to mass produce them compared to just those regular smoothbore muskets. Even if they were, even if obviously rifling imparts considerably more accuracy and range. But, you know, logistics and time and mass production and all of that, and those are all pretty major issues for military, more effective or not. Anyway, balance power's at about 90% in our favor. Still got a little bit of a way to go, and yeah, this is weird. Now, why does this desync cause this one Wolfkin unit, which should be... It's almost like... As I recall, when I fought this, these guys all had like 40% of their HP remaining, so they all just they gave all of their extra HP to that one guy. And wow, you're not supposed to be forward like this either. Not that that's a big problem, I suppose, because those boar boys aren't really a threat to the huntsmen. Or the huntsman general. As they'll simply get shot up, just like the rest of these guys will as well. Moving out from under those platforms. And the Wolfkin will move in with, of course, the gunfire support coming in as well. Alright. Now, this is probably the smallest, or one of the smallest desyncs I've ever seen, in the sense that, yes, it is a desync, but because, let's say, 80% of our army is not moving with specific orders, that means they are still able to work. It's kind of accidental in the sense that I've talked about it before, but you can still fight battles that are going to be desynced if you make sure to never give direct orders to your units, i.e. tell them to click on any units, and that kind of accidentally happened here, so you can see that it's still a desync, but largely is happening as it should be. You got nothing weird happening, like units moving, like range units moving all the way across the map or not firing, like those artillery crews in Gelt's desync several episodes ago now. But anyway, the only major difference is we gotta wait until the last of the units. Okay, there's like a couple of units remaining. And okay, yeah, see, now the weirdness starts. Well, I think with that we can essentially call this battle here. You could probably guess that with that, the battle effectively comes to a close, and we pretty clearly won this one. Alright, there we go. The Hawklanders, well, they turned out not to need artillery or magic or any fancy thing like that. The good old bow and rifle, hunting rifle, would be more than sufficient to take an enemy stronghold. Lovely. Occupy the place, and yeah, okay, occupy, don't sack it. Love the extra money, but this is a territory we're keeping, and hey, a ranger's quiver. I don't really care about the unending volley aspect of it, but the range bonus might come in handy on maybe one lord. One other lord than Baldric, I should say. Anyway, Thessos, so we will immediately build the paved roads here, I guess. Hopefully the public order will be sufficient after a bit, but anyway. Good. You've now occupied that. We'll have you take Thessos as well. And oh wow, these guys are holding a fair bit of territory here, actually. Go figure. We'll have to figure out what we want to keep, and then what we want to keep from the Southern Realms, and what we want to give back to them. We don't need a huge amount of additional territory compared to what we already have, after all. Anyway, who was that again? That was Baldric Stroam. Stefan von Kessel, I'd like you to move towards these guys. You can land at a port here and then heal up and then help Toddy out a little bit. We'll see if we need to send you all the way to the Albion Bowl, which I would like to do, but there's still Norskins and Chaos to fight up here as well, so it should be okay. Wolfram Blaze, you're still delivering that tank to Elspeth, but you're drawing rather close. In fact, end your turn here in Vitrul, or just outside of it. As I do believe that you can get benefit from moving further by being in our own territory. Now, it looks like the enemies at Strovengaard decided not to sally out. Okay, you're good. Which means we gotta attack a man. Since it's a Pyrrhic victory, it's probably one that we should fight. I mean, they got some good stuff in there. It's just a minor, relatively minor battle, but on the other hand, maybe they can take advantage of their choke points. Go, Boris.
It will be done.
Alrighty, here we go. Boris and his bestie, who also has that griffin up there, looking good, pretty good together. I did want to make an army with 2 Amber Wizards as well as an Empire General, so that we could have 3 griffins as a sort of a powerful spearhead. And I might still do that in one of our armies. I just have to figure out, which one. I was about to say maybe we could do that in the Knights Panther army, but on the other hand, I'll think about it. They should have a Grandmaster rather than a Lord, and the Grandmasters don't get the Griffin mounts, which is a little bit strange. They should at least have thus a Demigriff option. Like Grandmasters, if anybody should have a Demigriff option, it's probably Grandmasters over Empire Captains, because Grandmasters and Demigriffs rather are often used by the Inner Circle Knights of various knightly orders, so it's odd that a Grandmaster doesn't have that particular option. But that's just me. Anyway, battle has begun. We are moving. Well, the battle will be decided at these 2 choke points, effectively. Our air units have taken down the enemy tower, and now Boris Todbringer is facing off against a War Mammoth here, and has brought it down to about half HP with a little bit of help from the rest of his troops. We've seen him defeat Wulfhart already, which probably has considerably more HP and better stats than a regular War Mammoth. Scary, though, a War Mammoth may be. But I imagine it has a little to no chance here, especially with the arrival of the Wolfkin, or not the Wolfkin, the Knights of the White Wolf, to help block it off a little bit, though it still has plenty of mass, and it's probably not going to be in the fight for too much longer. I do love these sort of costume coordination that we've got in this army, largely with all of those cloaks and the furs and all that sort of stuff. I guess, funnily enough, the Swords of Ulrich are the only units that don't match this particular army. But they're a summoned unit. Alright, it looks like with that the War Mammoth is done. There is another one, but we're going to help out against this one with our Amber Wizard, which does hit reasonably hard, 623 weapon strength. Just that the Amber Wizard doesn't have a lot of melee defense, but it's still very nice to be able to send a Griffin, even if it is a Wizard riding a Griffin. How much HP do you have? 5k. I just want to compare it to Boris, who has, what, 10k? 8.2k. I assume 10k because Karl has like 11k, I think, or something like that, so he's pretty healthy by comparison. Anyway, this I believe was not just a mammoth, but the enemy chieftain as well, and it gets brought down by the work of the 2 griffins, and it looks like we'll be able to break through this choke point rather soon. Over on this side, however, the enemy is still very much holding us back, and it looks like a couple of units of bleak swords from the outpost that the Dark Elves had here. together with a unit of Marauder Champions, which, well, the Marauder Champions at least will take a fair bit to bring down. The Bleak Swords, maybe not so much. Although I am kind of now very interested to see the heights that you can take Bleak Swords to with the Dark Elves. I don't think I got to do that last time I played the Dark Elves, because Bleak Swords are a terrible unit, and generally speaking, but yeah, SFO makes all units viable, and well, next time I do Dark Elves, I'm definitely going to do something with those Bleak Swords. And by the looks of the next campaign vote, the next time, and the Dark Elf next time, is very much fast approaching. Anyway, Bleak Swords are down to about 30% of their HP on one, and then the other one is breaking, whereas the Marauders are down to about 50% of their HP. And we have broken through the choke point here, and now our units of Knights of the White Wolf, together with some of those Children of Ulrich, / things in the woods, are leading the infantry towards the next enemies. But the bounce bar is at about 90% in our favor. Most of the enemy melee troops have been killed trying to prevent us from breaking through those choke points, and it's mostly a matter of riding down the enemy range units that are still in the enemy settlement. One range unit will shatter and the rest will go as well, and with that, the battle is ours. Hardly surprising, considering it's only a single stack of a garrison, not like there was a Wulfhart or anything here to defend, but we had to do it. Ooh, I do like that approach to this particular location with all of those. Okay, so that's clearly a mammoth tusk, right? Mammoth, well, the tusk, yes, but mammoth skull, except this is a mammoth that's, I don't know, the size of a city block. Look at this frickin' thing. And I guess all of those frickin' things. Huh. I wonder if this is, I don't know. This is a time from when the sky giants existed. Because those are some big boys, but anyway. Alright, there we go. No problem. A little bit of damage from the enemy elites, i.e. the enemy Marauder Champions, Trolls, Mammoth or Mammoths, and the Feral Manticore, but otherwise looking pretty good. We will occupy the place, or... Huh. I guess we could actually sack... Well, no, you know what? I know it's a decent bit of cat. Wow, we do need the cash. Fine, sack it. I was thinking we'd just transfer it to Boris at a higher level, but at the same time, it's going to be a while before we transfer the place anyway, and we need the cash right now because, well, we need the cash right now, so that's all the reason we should need. Huh. Actually, I just realized, how long would it take to build a wizard hut here? Oh, 12 turns, or 12 turns, 5 turns, it's a long time. We could take this place and then build it there. Oh, no, wait, I think it has to be a capital. We could start on it. I wanted to get a couple more tech thieves up and running here because we are not researching tech as fast as I would perhaps like to, but we also need to get the tech thieves up and running close to where they can actually steal tech, so that's an issue. Anyway, Wolf from Frankenwerter, you're going to cross back over and move to Nuln. Humphrey Bruckert, you, I guess, are going to go this way. You can either fight, well, one of these Skaven factions. I'm a little bit worried about the lizards getting killed by the, like, 5 or 6 armies that we saw moving around from the clan Scryer Skaven. I guess we're just going to have to wait and see. Recruiter, you're fine as you are. Land Admiral, you got one more turn until your stuff is ready. And, oh... yeah, you're going to want a couple of those Wissenberg's welcomers as well. Alright, that's fine. We'll deal with you in a second. Volmir, you're fine as you are for now. Troop train. Until we get the replacement lord, you're going to have to keep moving as you are as well. Can't reach Black Iron Fort by the looks of it, so you can channel and move as close to it as you're likely to get. What do we have here, by the way? Basically nothing, huh? You know what? To save the turn, or to save your time, let's get to you, Theodric Gosso. We're going to get you to attack this and have Troop Train move past it, which means we're probably better off getting as close to it as we can rather than channeling, especially since as yet you don't have a wizard, though one is starting to move towards you. But anyway, we can keep going through that. Anyway, that was Mr. Troop Train. If I could just find you in here. There you go. All right, it's Siegfried Schneider. You are... Oh, right, this guy. Yes, alrighty. Well, I think... funnily enough, these guys are basically free. You know, and get a couple more of these guys. Might as well fill up this army. Go for it, Grey Mountain Band. Lots of Bretonnians down here, I guess, as well. Anyway, I just want to double check what else we have. That's it? Oh, the Sutzens guns. Okay, yeah, that's the important one that we needed the money for. Let's get a couple of Sutzens guns in here. Although, I also wanted Sutzens guns specifically for Marius Lightdorf, who is now out of position, just to replace these two because of the relatively fragile basic ogres. Alrighty, you know what, let's put them in here first. We'll reset them immediately. Like so. And then we will go to requisition. All Elector Count state troops will be replenished instantly. Ain't it lovely? Alrighty, then we'll probably want to get them on cooldown as well, so we just need the money to be able to do so. You we will hold off on dealing with right now. You will want at least one more stubborn bull. Probably we'll actually want two, but we'll use one for now to save cash because we want to use it this turn. You're going to proceed in trench stance and kill charge lock. And it's a decisive victory. I mean... it's a slightly better army than they fought previously, but I think we're free to just auto-resolve this here. Especially because we already won with like half of this stack before without the second Witch Hunter, etc, etc, etc. So I think we'll take it as it is. I don't think you need to replenish here. On the other hand, you're an enemy... yeah, well, actually, you're not anymore, are you? Take the money. Alrighty, ward save, you can hold on to that at least for now. Clan Claw destroyed, goody. Enemy killed in battle, then you will want to deliver these two witch hunters to Mr. Volkmar. Fortunately, he is close by. You will be sort of fledgling elements of our, another one of our knightly army, specifically the Stubborn Bull's knightly army. But we got a lot of stuff cooking right now, so it's all good. Alrighty, anyway, let's see who's up next. And we should be closing in on the end of the turn. Oh, Volky, I would like you to keep proceeding down here. Hopefully you don't pick up a plague. And while we could have immediately attacked the Nurglites, frankly, I think it might be the better option to try and wipe out the Drakenhof Conclave first, and then start dealing with these guys after, especially since we'll have more armies, which we'll need since they have a fair bit of territory. Marcus, I guess you're going to proceed to Great Ohm. And I guess we're going to declare war on these guys. That is Bellicor. We will join Nagaryth in attacking you, I guess.
Do not look for me in the light.
And that will allow us to not do the defensive alliance unless we give you 5,000 gold. I mean, I guess... I kind of don't want to give them 5,000 gold. I guess if we take the mudflats, then we could transfer it back to them for it. Yeah, fine. Let's do the military access. And then take their money, because frickin' elves. Alrighty, let's do that then. Like so. And do have to remember that these guys do have a bunch of armies running around, as in the Norskins as well as Bellicor, so we do have to be careful about the undefended territories, but hopefully it'll be okay. Anyway, you cannot trenches, but you can still proceed to Great Ohm. Do we have Siege Attacker here? Oh. You gotta be kidding me, this army doesn't have Siege Attacker like this, does it? Alright, well I guess that is then a reason to put a Thunderbarge in this army if one of those factions can tech up to it. We could put like a land ship in here or something in the meantime, just as a temporary measure. I guess we should probably get rid of one of the Grey Mountain Band for that. Or an artillery piece. Huh. And we could also just give them the Black Lions, war wagons with Hellblasters. I was gonna put those elsewhere, but, you know, that works too. I guess we'll do that next turn. You can't deliver them right now. You know what? Go to Black Bog. Just in case. It's not like we care about these guys, and I might build some more stuff, but once we have the actual cash for it. Anyway, that was Wulfhart, who should be close to the end of the list. And who are you again? Colt Huldorf. Oh, right. You are going to be, assuming that you have defensive, yes, you are going to be our pike and shot army. You still need Empire captains, amongst other things. But I think you're getting ready to move. There's chaos here. Specifically, you got to deal with Valkia, so I think we're going to get you moving over there. Alrighty, get started on your journey. You want to get the Altdorf Company of Honor into combat. And we'll pick up your heroes and such as needed as we move. Definitely got to get a couple of Empire captains in here, especially since you don't have armor pedigree. The halberdiers only have 55 armor, which means they're rather weak. Or at the very least, rather fragile. You're waiting for the rest of the Knights Panthers, so you're good for now. And I believe that's it. Alrighty, so before we continue, before we end the turn rather, who else do we need to get on field? Now, the Knights of the Blazing Sun here, they will definitely want at least one Eldred's Guard. I want you to get that up and running. Let's do that. Alright, I guess it's... yeah, okay, it's in your army. And the Citizens' guns as well, right? For the fire damage. I mean, they're not super necessary in this particular army, I admit, since other armies do want them. Well, either way, get one Eldred's Guard for you. I was looking to do more in... do you have Knights more available? So the Everlasting Knight, Empire Knights, yeah, alright, let's get one Knights of more for our all-knightly army of all the various orders working together. Alright, I wanted the Wissenberg's Welcomers for the Land Admiral. Alright, trying to remember what's supposed to go where. Yeah, alright, fine. We should still probably get the Citizens' guns. They are fire damage, which works with the Knights of the Blazing Sun and the inevitable fire wizard that we're gonna pop in here. Fine, fine, fine. We'll do that. Alright, like so. Alright, and then obviously we'll try to get more Citizens' guns as fast as we can. Anyway, at least we can use normal mortars to take their place until we can replace them. With that, we're out of cash, we're out of moves, and unless I'm mistaken, we're free to end the turn. Commandment available. Talibayam, yes. What? Why did your commandment become available now? Huh? Oh, right, because we confederated. I was like, what the heck? And you do got the Blazing Sun chapter house, which is lovely as well. Delete the gunnery school, and then I guess delete the barracks, which we don't need here. Delete this. Keep the Tailor's Guild, we can upgrade it next turn. Delete the guardhouse, we can upgrade you next turn as well, and the rest of that. It looks pretty okay to me. And then we should have another commandment available from another territory. Horno, yes, upgrade, yeah. And delete this, and then upgrade. And then obviously go into Council of Burgomeisters. And that is it. We only got those two provinces, I take it? I guess we had most of the territory around here, which, you know, fair enough. Alrighty, let's go. Alright, these guys will indeed sally out. Lots and lots of Black Orcs and Biggins, which is definitely going to be an issue for our Empire swordsmen, especially considering we don't yet have the Empire captains in this army. Should be a pretty darn good fight. Valiant defeat, casualties high, and all. And no cavalry to counteract the enemy boar boys. Definitely going to be iffy. Alright, before we get started, unfortunately, we have finally got to the point where we have no longer reached the engagement threshold over the last couple of episodes, and still going to go for the long episode here because, as promised, we did go way over the engagement threshold for 6 or 7 episodes, so we still got those in the bank for now. Otherwise, I do believe there's nothing else. Go.
Victory will be ours!
Alright, well, I certainly hope that victory will be ours, but let's not get ahead of ourselves there, buddy. It's certainly going to be a tough fight. Valiant defeat according to the auto-resolve, and we're just going to have to see if we can pull it off. Obviously, those piles of Black Orcs and Biggins are going to be stronger than our regular swordsmen. And we're just going to have to do our best to hold, especially with the vastly superior numbers that the enemy has to call upon as well. Anyway, we're going to start the battle off with a little bit of old-fashioned mortar fire and a little bit of not-so-old-fashioned chain lightning through the enemy. I'm still perhaps a little bit unnecessarily bothered, but still bothered by the fact that this spell is called Chain Lightning and not Ball Lightning when it's a big ball of lightning. But anyway. And it doesn't really chain either, does it? You don't see it, I don't know, you don't see it chaining two enemies and then forking all over the place. But what do I know? Anyway, I'm gonna get a nicer little Uranon's Thunderbolt through a big old blob of enemy units of boar boys, because they were in each other's way, and we do quickly gun down a unit of enemy boar chariots. As we continue sort of moving away with our war wagons and trying to do as much damage to those units as possible, while moving closer to the stone trolls, which are a more important target, and then the boar boys, as there will obviously be less overkill damage firing on the trolls as compared to the boar boys. Though still some overkill damage by the looks of it. All good though, just keep on firing at those trolls one by one, bring them down. Gotta do as much damage as possible before the enemy main stack arrives. Over in the right flank, same sort of thing is happening as a unit of boar boys gives chase. Boar chariots give chase to a unit of a free company. It looks like the boar boys try to move around us, but we do intercept them with our greatswords. In this particular fight, we have set up our greatswords on the flanks. Now, in terms of where we've set up, there's basically no real good terrain on this map. I guess we could have set up here, but the hill, I mean, the enemy would have been up on top of the hill anyway, so what we had to do was set up around this thing. It can at least protect one of our flanks, and thus we're going to protect. Now this one, the enemy can still get around us on this side. I wanted to leave a gap here so we didn't go all the way to the edge of the map, because that's annoying, but I definitely did want to make use of the impassable little bit of terrain. Pretty important to make good use of the terrain in, well, in battles where we have a very dangerous chance of losing. Anyway, while this may not be a gun and sword, it may not be a pike and shot style army, tactically this is going to be similar sort of deal where we use our swords to block enemies off, but leave gaps in our lines, allowing for our handguns to try to mow down as many of the enemies as they can. Obviously the critical targets being the black orcs, followed by the boar boys. Boar boys obviously a little bit easier to shoot because they are bigger targets, but the black orcs are much more threatening as these swordsmen can only fight them for so long. 69 armor-piercing weapon strength on the black orcs and 30 non-armor piercing on these swords. It ain't much. But they're here to hold the line, so hopefully they can do so. Our swords on the right flank are down to about half of their HP, and we're going to need to help them out as best we can. And the best way to do that is to pop off a big old spell. Overcast, Comet of Cassandora, right in the midst of the enemy army there. It does clip the swords a little bit because it's a very big explosion from that particular spell, but it looks like it did plenty of damage. 291 kills and 63,000 damage on our mage, though admittedly that is also including a chain lightning, which probably heavily damaged at least one unit of enemy error boys, as well as an Uranon's Thunderbolt, which probably didn't do all that much. Anyway, the battle is still underway, and we're still trying to just hold off as many of the enemy melee as we can so that our range units can keep firing. And it does look like we have found and killed the enemy Lord and are now trying to kill off the enemy Black Orc Big Boss with our own Lord. It does look like some Black Orcs are starting to close the distance with our known iron side, so we're going to move in with the Griffin and back these guys off so that they can fire again, hopefully engaging the Black Orcs and firing into their backs with whatever range units we can. Very nice. Although it does look like more enemy Black Orcs, or Biggins rather, have broken through. A Free Company militia unit is routing. We're going to send another unit of Free Company into the melee to block them off for as long as we can. Our swords on the right flank are in the process of breaking as well. Going to try to hold off for as long as we can, pop off that harmonic convergence, and buff up their stats, as they're very much needed here. The enemy counters that with an activation of their Wa, significantly bumping up their weapon strength and melee attack, and making them immune to psychology as well, though that only matters, I guess, against our Lord, who I think is the only unit here that can cause fear and terror. Alright, at least on the left and all the way on the right flanks, the great swords are still doing a pretty good job hacking part of those biggins. The great swords are not on a level with Black Orcs, perhaps, and would be obliterated by Black Orcs, generally speaking, without support, but they can certainly beat a unit of biggins. And not so much for the swords, at least without gun support. Unfortunately, we have had plenty of gun support in this particular battle. The balance of power has shifted to about 90% in our favor, and though it looks like we've only just barely managed to hold the enemy back with how much damage our units of swords have suffered, it looks like we do manage to carry the day. Another really fun fight for Mr. Theodoric von Blutten, who wasn't originally, who we were going to originally swap some of the units and stuff around with, but has been holding on to these guys and been doing well with them for quite the while now, considering his level. A lovely, lovely fight. Alrighty, there we go. A very nice fight as our weakest army manages to hold off the tide of greenskins and always gives us a pretty enjoyable battle. It wasn't quite a pike and shot, it was definitely a pike and shot style army, or style battle rather, just lacking the actual pikes, but certainly shooting the enemy in between the, through the holes in the formation. We will get, let's see, 13,000 damage on the Swords of Averland and 25,000 on Cleaver's Company, which is pretty solid, and I think those are the only named units in this particular force, as I've been kind of vacillating on how we should modify, or if we should modify the force, and that's kind of still the case. So, for now you'll heal, and let's continue. Alright, well, I thought it a shame that the enemy was, that we don't have the siege attacker trait on Marcus, or, yet another Marcus against him, but anyway, the fact that the reinforcing army came in, they've got some aspiring champs, some seeker chariots, should be a good fight, especially since this is an untested army. Now let's see how we do. Go. Alrighty, here we go. Ooh, I do like this lighting, but yeah, here we go. Debut battle for Marcus Wulfhart. Let's see how he does. Looks like the enemy, smartly, has deployed its army all the way near to where their reinforcements are going to move on to the field, and thus far away from our army. That's, on the one hand, it prevents our Vanguard deployed units from doing too much damage to them before the reinforcements arrive. On the other hand, units like Chaos Warriors are rather slow, which means it's going to take the enemy quite a while to reach our main stack, which is going to move over here and, similar to our previous fight, protect one of their flanks with a bit of impassable terrain, though the enemy could get around us all the way like this if they should desire to do so. I guess we'll see. Wulfhart, Kalara, and Twig Van Hal have moved on in, gonna get a few of their range attacks off on the enemy and then start backing off. You can fire in all directions too, can't you? Yeah, I think you can. Alright, there we go. Not that they're going to do a crazy amount of damage, mind you. Anyway, the battle has begun now as the enemy reinforcements have arrived on the field. We're going to start backing off those Wissenberg's Welcomers and the gyrocopters. Nice to see the sort of mechanical units traveling together. I guess technically the war wagon isn't really mechanical, but it's mechanical enough for our purposes. It is a war machine, I guess. Alrighty, and surprisingly, I'm surprised to see how much damage Searing Doom can do to the war wagons. They have lost 40% of their HP from getting hit with one Searing Doom, which is definitely an ouchie. Ooh, and it looks like the enemy uses its ability to summon a blob of Forsaken, nearly trapping Wulfhart. Fortunately, he's pretty quick with 68 movement speed, and I'm going to try to provide him a little bit of support with Kalara's Arrows of Kurnos, and then back off with everybody. Ertwig Van Hal is also either used or is saving to soon use his accusation on the enemy lord. And they have been firing away at him for this entire time, but he's taken, what, 20% damage? Well, just keep on firing at him. Do your best. Range units, range heroes, rather, and lords don't really generally do too much, unless they're given a tank. which makes them significantly better. Anyway, the enemy army, the main stack, is still on the approach. It's going to take them a while to get there, and damn, got hit by another C-rank doom on the Wissenberg's Welcomers, who have lost a war wagon and are down to about 30% of their HP. Yeah, this was absolutely my error. I spent too long trying to micro the heroes, as in the range units, to try to fire at and kill single entities and such. And it was not worth it because they don't do enough damage. Should have just protected the war wagons. On the right side, though, the enemy units of Seeker Chariots have been heavily damaged on their approach here. Funnily enough, I feel like this army could have really used a couple of Gunderman Surefires just for the slowdown, especially if it's fairly hard to hit a unit like this. There we go, flash bomb, and it's time to finally bring it down with Huntsman Fire. There we go. The heroes just weren't doing it. Sad no Slanesh giggle. But anyway, looks like a unit of Screamers is giving chase to our Flyers, but our Flyers should be more than safe enough. Another Arrows of Kurnos comes down into an enemy unit of Chaos Wars. We're going to follow that up with I forget what the ability is called, but oh, it's literally just called Amber Bow. And the other one's called Focus Shot. Alright, fair enough. Anyway, enemies moving in. We're going to retarget our heroes to try to go after the Chaos War Shrine, see how much damage they can do. And what is that, like 5% per arrow? It ain't much. All good, though. Yorick Grimm does provide us an army-bound ability, which is that lovely Zufbar 42 pound. Is going to get that through the line of Chaos Wars and then follow that up with a little bit of a bombing run from our gyrocopters. Now, these are the steam expulsion gyrocopters, so they're anti-infantry, but they're doing pretty well here, and frankly, we need that more than single entity targeting. Speaking of single entities, we're going to pop off that Prey of Anathrema on the Chaos War Shrine, and then switch one of our units of Huntsmen to bring it down. Because our heroes were just not, they were taking too long. All good, though. Enemies are starting to reach our main line. It's time for the Bretonians to go to work. Roderick Longhi, our Bretonian hero, is facing off against the Chaos Lord. It looks like he gets bowled over by the Chaos Spawn. And he has a bunch of arrows. Oh, wow, he has a ton of arrows in the side of his neck. Yeah, that's pretty funny. Very high accuracy from those huntsmen that shot him in the neck. But hey, wait, is he a Grail Knight? I don't know. He has my Grail Vow or my Vow as an ability. No, he has Grail Banishment as an ability as well, so maybe. I gotta double check if he well, he's a Paladin, so he should have the regen, right? I assume. He has Knight's DUT, Sight Beyond Sight. He is not a Paladin, he was just a Knight. I just want to check if he has a regen. No, it doesn't look like that. No, he does. Wait, no. That's Chaos Spawn. What am I saying? I don't think he does. He does have a Headhunter and a bunch of other stuff. Well, not important. Either way, the battle continues, though the bounce power has shifted to about 70% in our favor. Some big boys are moving in the form of the enemy Beasts of Nurgle, though I think that is the last of the bigger enemy targets remaining. Our Wildwood Rangers have also been doing decently well, although this, I believe, particular unit has been essentially running around intercepting enemy fast movers, which was very much needed here. Beasts of Nurgle are nearly done. There are still a unit of aspiring champions here, though, and we're kind of, by and large, just ignoring them, as, it takes too much resources to bring those guys down. Fortunately, though, it looks like it's much easier to get the enemy army to shatter than bother with those aspiring champions. The Bretonians are still holding off those Chaos Spawn and those armored trolls. And it looks like with that, the enemy army will shatter, and the battle will be ours. Oh, wow, look at these. These Wildwood Rangers, 80 kills, nearly 10,000 damage. Pretty solid. Didn't see them do their thing too much in this episode, but it's because they were kind of repositioning themselves constantly, and thus I had to deal with other stuff. They have 51 move speed after all, compared to the 32 of the Bretonian units, and are the only unit that we really have that can act as a quick repositioning unit. But anyway, worked out pretty well. Looks like Kalara did take a lot of damage by something. I think she got attacked by the Chaos Spawn. Our War Wagons got pretty badly damaged. Wulfhart lost about 30% of his HP, and I think Roderick Longhi, I can't find him anymore, but he got kind of damaged as well. Yeah, there we go, he's nearly down to half HP. But otherwise, we did pretty okay. Nice little debut fight. We'll see if we need to make any adjustments to this army, but I'm excited to see what it can do over the course of the rest of the campaign. All right, there we go. First battle with Marcus's army definitely goes our way. His huntsman certainly did a pretty decent amount of damage, 33,000 by the looks of it. The top, about 15 to 20k on the war wagons, 20k on the gyrocopters, and 12 to 5k on the Wildwood Rangers. Although the one that's on the right flank was, well, spent most of the battle sort of moving around, intercepting enemies, and thus that makes sense. Otherwise, 12,000, 7,000, 4,000, 6,500, and 16,000 on the heroes. Marcus's damage probably largely from his abilities rather than his actual attacks. I tried to get all 4 of our range units to fire at the enemy war shrine as it moved towards us, and they were doing so little damage to it. Eventually switched a huntsman unit, and the huntsman unit by itself killed it faster than all 4 of the heroes together. But, you know, range heroes tend to be pretty garbage, so it's hardly unsurprising. The abilities are pretty nice, though, in terms of helping out the army. Anyway, we're going to heal up, as we will have to fight again. Well, auto-resolve, but anyway.
Redeem yourselves and join us.
Alright, and looks like the orcs will sally out of the, wherever this was, Caset Hercules as well. Lots and lots of squigs of various kinds, and lots of war wagons and boar boys, just a ton of fast-moving units. I think this is the sort of army type that Dolph had the most trouble with when facing the orcs, as compared to the ones with lots of infantry where he had basically no trouble at all. So, let's see how they do. Alright, I'm also inclined to say that our victory is certain, just statistically, based on what we've seen out of Dolph in previous fights. Anyway, the vast majority of the enemy are actually reinforcing enemies, and that's probably also very bad for the AI. What they do have is a couple of units out here, as well as the summoned units of Biggins, but they're just oh my lord, the grenades, the gunfire will absolutely trounce those poor Biggins. Not many left already, and now several of our units have switched to fighting or shooting the enemy lord, who goes down, no Slaneshi giggle, before I even finish the sentence. There we go. Those units are by and large destroyed, and we will make sure to shoot them all. Not that it matters with regards to the summoned Biggins, but, well, we gotta do something. We got a minute until the reinforcements arrive, so we might as well make sure that nothing lives to, well, I was about to say nothing lives to tell the tale, but I guess these guys wouldn't have lived anyway because they're summoned units. Anyway, await reinforcements. We're going to reposition. The enemy is going to arrive with all of their reinforcements down here. Now, obviously, we could have gone here. We could have dropped spells on them, etc., etc., but we're going to let them climb the hill a little bit, and this is where I think the enemy is completely screwed. It's a big old pile of units that's getting onto the field in this valley, essentially. They're all going to get in each other's way. They're all going to get funneled into the gunfire, though admittedly half our army will have their shots interfered with by the tree line, but I think still it might not be enough. And on top of that, the enemy will be slowed by having to climb this hill, regardless of the fact that they have a solid 4 colossal squigs, which is admittedly pretty nice. Let's see if that's enough for them. Anyway, it'll be the squig hoppers that will lead. And it looks like they're trying to go to the tree line, perhaps because there are pistoliers here, or perhaps because they feel safer from the gunfire. I'm not entirely sure. Most likely the enemy just wants to sort of separate all of its units from each other. But either way, this particular unit, or the first of the unit of Night Goblin Squig Hoppers, gets destroyed. The second one is getting shot up and is just about done for as well. There's plenty more squiggies of various kinds where that came from. Here comes the next unit. And it's getting obliterated as well. There we go, nice shot from Dolph. We haven't activated any of our buffs either. And you can see how many of the shots are also smacking into those trees as well. But it's all good. Alright, as soon as the enemy gets a little bit closer... Oh, look at all those grenades exploding at the trees now. I fear that the enemy is screwed here. We've already seen a lot of their fast movers get obliterated. And now it's time to up our damage as well. Here comes a Colossal Squig, and it will get gunned down. And just before it reaches us, there are more Colossal Squigs on the way, but they won't be on the way for too much longer to get obliterated. And then all three of them were stopped by our Tormentor Sword from our Wizard. Sucks to be them. With that, the last of the Colossal Squigs will fall shortly, or at the very least can't get to us. And it's stuck for another 10 seconds, which is going to be too much. The rest of the enemy blob is still attempting to move towards us, but they're getting closer to the grenades, which are now dropping into those units. And of course our steam tank firing steam and cannon fire through them. Wow, that one orc got hit by a bunch of stuff. Enemy Lord has arrived, or at least started to move closer to us on that Catchweb Spider Shrine, but showing itself was a bad idea as it gets obliterated as well. And by the looks of it, the bounce power is already up to 70% in our favor. Another Lord will fall here, a Black Orc Big Boss, and I think the battle is pretty much ours. As you can probably see, we decided to forego using any of our spells in this blob of enemies. And just because I wanted to give them a chance to actually get to us, but since they have no chance, we might as well clear them out with a little bit of spell work. And just to finish the battle, an Overcast Flamestorm, an Overcast Burning Head, and then lastly a non-Overcast Piercing Bolts of Burning. Going to mow down many a unit here, and with that the enemy army will shatter and the battle will be ours. Lovely. And I guess, admittedly, it does make sense to both ambush and attack an enemy army that's, a warhost that's traveling down a valley like this. It's a natural choke point. Same sort of situation as Blackfire Pass against the orcs. So it does make sense in terms of realism to meet them here, and we did allow them plenty of space to actually move towards us. Even if I do feel bad about doing this to the AI. But hey, it's only once, so not a big deal. It's not like we took advantage of any bugs or anything like that. Anyway, crushing defeat, Red Eye. I take it that's... Well, obviously the game is lying on that, but, well, they were crushingly defeated, so yeah. Oh, nice. We got another Van Horstmans out of that. We have to put those on all of our warrior priests, so we need a fair few. Anyway, nice fight. The enemy stood no chance. I think it became apparent when they were only, I don't know, basically completely unable to reach our units with their cavalry or their fast movers, and it became apparent that they had no chance to win, and then we dropped some spells on them and obliterated them all. Frankly, the map screwed them over as they started in that valley where they were all in each other's way, A, and then B, they had to move uphill while that. So yeah, bad time for the enemies. War wagons, Delph's Desperados, only 5,000 damage. Well, yeah, in this particular battle, the units of Pistoliers didn't do much. That is not the same thing for the Outriders, however, as the Spurhawks managed to rack up 35,000 damage and 50,000 damage on the Frontier Watchers. Very nice. Dolph always cleaning house with 66,000, and well, the Fire Mage essentially cleaned up for us. We will... I guess we don't need to heal. Alright, let's do the Execute Captives. Might help us with the auto-resolve of what remains here.
This cost them dearly.
Alright, there we go. Creator, Authoritarian, Gold-Tooth Confederation. I wonder if he's going to be willing to go for that alliance with us now. I really want some more Ogre units. Banner of Eternal Flame, Berserker's Sword, Van Horstmans, ready for duty, Nicholas Simmelschilder, sure. Philip Ivan the Crazy. Somebody there is somebody we need, but I don't know who. Essen, you have an unusual location. What do we have here? Sewer Dwelling. When Skaven Corruption is 100 or more, chance for events to trigger, that will never happen. So I guess we're just going to destroy the location, since the event can only trigger with a massive amount of Skaven Corruption, and plus 15 is not enough to counteract all the anti-corruption that we have, especially with the minor temples or common temples. So why bother with that then? Goodbye. Alrighty, then let's go. Oh wait, you Dolph, you picked up that Van Horstman, did you not? Yeah, alright, you don't need that yourself. We'll get you something else. I'm tempted to give him some stuff that increases his damage further as well, because he's been doing good. But anyway, Karl, we'll start with you. Ooh, wait, do we start with Karl though? Well, yeah, I was gonna say we could do some of the building switcheroos, but I'll probably do the switcheroo between the episodes. Still need to knock out Throg, still need to knock out these guys, but I guess we'll head for Throggy first, eh? And go for Throggy first. You will need to set up an encamp stance, because raiding won't work here. And I do wonder if Scarby is still at Crow Brethren Roost. If he is not. He moved somewhere else. Ooh, and Zazel's running around as well. Hopefully he doesn't start taking Grimbrindle's territories now that Grimbrindle is rebuilding, because we might want some units from him. Anyway, Dolph, let's get you into trenches. Let's hope that the auto-resolve is not going to kill our war wagons here. Considering there's basically nothing left, but, well, it still managed to kill off 2 of these, but at least we're okay. Occupy. Well, sack and then occupy. Get some money for that. We only have a couple more turns, 5 more turns left of materials at sea, so we want to make sure that we use it. And don't bother repairing here. Alright, lovely. Let's go in order. By order rather than by location, though funnily enough order and location is the same thing this time, right? Oh no. Fabricator Flesh Cutter, Doom Engineer. Well, hopefully he doesn't doom us. Alright, you. Red Face Stronghold is the next place. And auto-resolve. And, ooh, another White Cloak of Ulrich. Nice pickup. We're not going to sack because it's basically nothing. And I think you will... maybe hold on to it for now. It's not the worst thing in the world for you. Probably better on our warrior priests rather than on fighty lords, but we'll see. Anyway, Jürgen Wagner, you will continue up northward, I guess, to Nullfarling Keep. Eventually we'll find a worthy opponent for you again, I'm sure, but that eventually is not now. So auto-resolve and occupy. Alright, good. And do we produce anything from gold? We do not. Alright. If we had, I might have actually built the building, but there isn't any need. Waldemar Biber. Alright, so Silostra is staying at Dassault, and I see... I mean, they had another army, but it's gone now. Alright, well, you're going to besiege Dassault then, and then Silostra will most likely sally out, because they've got... Oh, they got another little army here. Pyrrhic victory casualties high. At least I hope she sallies out. Start building this stuff. If she doesn't sally out, she's going to have a bad time, because we have a lot of artillery there. Well, that's her problem, not ours. Anyway, let's see who's next. Waldemar... Oh, that was you. My bad. Theodric von Blitten, you had a great fight. Let's take Myrmidons. You deserve it. And I guess this guy is going to run now. Auto-resolve. Nope. Quick save because of the war wagons. I guess it's only 3 units, but you never know. I mean, Dolph lost 4 war wagons due to, like, 5 guys or something, so, yeah. We'll occupy the place because we're likely to keep Myrmidons. Don't collect the income, however, and start on that clay pit. Hello. Wormslayer's Sword. Bonus versus large removes all bonus versus infantry. This is atrocious. This is a terrible weapon. Yeah, I know it's a big bonus versus large, and that is conferred to melee attack when fighting larger units, but at a loss of 20 melee defense, I feel like this is not enough to warrant it effectively. Yeah, we could give this to some, like, hero that only deals with single entities, but it would have to be somebody with a very high melee defense. I'll think about it. Not a great weapon, especially compared to like something that gives you magical attacks and still buffs up your attack pretty considerably. But we'll see. Anyway, I guess we gotta go here first, unless this is two different Skaven factions. Huh. Well, you know what? Fine. And go to Blizzard Gap first because you can reach it. Oh, okay, fine. In regular stance. And then we'll see Ian Pritzcock. What kind of engineers? Do we have a Pestilent engineer here? Engineer, you know what I mean. And close victory, but casualties low, eh? I'm willing to... Well, oh, it's Stretch Craventail. Ooh, I like the move speed that we'd get from him. I don't know, it was Stretch himself here. Might actually be worthy of a fight. Huh, a minor settlement, though. That's not going to be so great for him. Anyway, I would like you to kill the Pestilent Scheme guy. So that's the second guy, Boilren. Oh, likelihood of this succeeding is pretty low, eh? Give it a try, anyway. Failed. Oh well. Oh well, it's not like Elspeth has room for you right now. Now, I would like for you to move here, but we don't know if there's an army in Skullreach Cavern. Kinda risky. On the other hand, Elspeth couldn't reach there. You know what? Go like right here, and we'll just hope that they don't suddenly kill the tank. Especially considering how long this guy's been looking to deliver said tank. But I guess we'll see. Emil von Corden, you. We're looking to find Mr. Liesl von Karlsbruck. Go after him. Leopold von Bildhofen might send you out somewhere. Recruiter's fine. Aleitdorf. Oh, did these guys manage to build a... Ah, they did manage to build a... what about another one? 13. Okay, getting there. Looks like they're alive. Maybe they got sacked rather than outright destroyed. In fact, I'm kind of curious. Let's take a look at what we've got in Iron Skins. Did they get sacked? Maybe they didn't. Huh. Maybe he backed off. Not entirely sure what happened there. But I guess sometimes, or oftentimes, it feels like the AI is programmed not to completely finish off a faction. Slanesh giggle. But, well, I guess that works out in our favor this time around. Is this another Pestilence Scheme? No, it's a Doom Engineer. Okay, I don't care about you. Gustav Hall, move down here. Maybe we'll have you hit Galopit and help out with these guys. They only have, what, 2 territories? You could at least besiege and probably give them a fight even without any heroes or any buffs in your army. Anyway, you still need to recruit, so I guess you can go up there and do it. As in recruit more ogres from Marius, whereas Marius is going to go... I mean, I guess we can now start war against these guys. Oh, wait, actually, can we? I'm not so sure. Declare war? Yes, we can. Alright, I wanted to see if there was sort of time that we had to wait. Hey, how much territories do you guys have? 4. Alright, so not that much, but I still don't like their proximity to the dwarfs. It's going to be an issue for us, so... Huh. This guy did not move far. I could have just traded those. Well, maybe we'll trade them next turn. Either way, they had to move, so that doesn't really change much. Alrighty, Balthazar... No, Gustav Schneider is next. Oh, actually, he's not next. He's just sitting here in case this guy attacks. Balthazar Gelt, you have taken Bloodfen. And I guess we'd have to cross this place in order to get to Reekmarsh. Well, actually, 2 turns? Wait, unless... Nah, 1 turn. Alright. What about you? And you're gonna go steal tech from the ogres. And hey, the ogres do have some solid tech, I guess, in the sense of things like iron blasters. Though I guess iron blasters are more of a function of having the Rhinox to pull it, rather than the actual technology of the big gun. Big mobile gun, I should say itself. Those things are insane, though. But anyway. Tech Thief, go. Alright, we're gonna move the Tech Thieves first because, you know, just in case that we run out of... there you go, you can land in Monte Castello. In case we run out of the capability of... Or sometimes we gotta attack and then steal tech at the same time, and I don't want to miss out on the chance to steal tech. There you go. Alright. It was tremendously difficult to get that across. Anyway, you move up here. You know where you're going, to the Grenade Army, because they need fire buffs. So you are going to steal from Pack Ice Bay. And you are going to steal from Ulrich's Throat. Okay, phrasing. Anyway, the heroes are not done. There's still one more Tech Thief and Mr. James Schreiber, who is supposed to move towards Gavin. Ooh, you got a full stack here. Hello. And it's 2 full stacks, in fact. I think maybe we'll wait for the mage this time. Might as well, it's not a big deal. If it's going to be a full-fledged fight and we remain rather weak in that army, I think they do need the mage. At the very least to help him out. Anyway, Luther Custerman, you, with the Knights of the Blazing Sun and the Sootson's guns, kind of repeat... I don't want to repeat the same type of army that we've got going down there. Move to Talabheim. I might make you a fire army, but of a different type. Not a more or less full Myrmidia army, but just a straight up fire army, which we can make pretty different because we can use we can use Banners of Eternal Flame. Or maybe some flamethrowers, but anyway, that certainly warrants it. You.
I will marshal the men.
One more turn for construction or recruitment, so you're just... Oh, why did I go from the bottom? Okay, whoops. Alright, there we go. Lost my place. Arch Recruiter, Aldebrand, you're fine. Baldric, you are not fine in the sense that you need to keep moving again. I guess... Wait, do these guys have 2 territories left? They have 2. Alright, so they're nearly done for, meaning I guess we're going to send Mr. Baldric up here to Heldegrad.
We have them now.
And then I guess we will send you, Theodric, back up here to Thessos. It's not like we're at war with these guys as yet, though they do appear to be losing some territory. We'll see if we need to help. I mean, it probably helps out that we've been knocking out the orcs here, which I'm sure were a thorn in everybody's side as well. Anyway, Stefan von Kessel, I really need you to land. Go to Fort Fjordling Village and then heal up there for a turn. And Toddy boy is after you, so we'll put you in here, you can heal up, and then Todd, you're going to hit Pack Ice Bay and auto-resolve it. It does mean bypassing Ulrich's throat, but I guess we can send Von Kessel up there. I mean, look at the sheer amount of territory that Wulfhart is holding. Auto-resolve, yep, it's gonna still absolutely obliterate our things in the woods, unfortunately. But it is what it is. Boris, Seasoned Campaigner, Apprentice Wizard. Ah, that's nice. Claw Coast. I guess we'll head into Host Festag for now. And we'll still be trading the place away. And I'll probably deal with that between the episodes as well. Just to save on a little bit of time. Wolfram Frankenmurder, you are still crossing the mountains. Humphrey Brookert, you are looking for Skaven to fight of any kind of variety. I would like you to move in camp stance, however. Maybe I should have crossed this way. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter. Oh, this is also all Skaven, and of course there is the clan Scryer Skaven. And not just Eshen. I guess we're probably going to need another army down there, because the Skaven are holding a fair bit of territory. Ooh, Tintla, are you good? Let me just see here. If we transfer all of this, minus the Knights of Moor, and then you can go back in here. You are at 17 out of 20, meaning we can do... Two Wissenberg's Welcomers, there we go, 6 war wagons, and then we got 3 steam tanks and 2 landships, plus Tintla himself will be on a steam tank. Alright, fine, we'll put the Wonder of the Age in his army as well. Yeah. There we go. Once again, I don't want to go overboard because it's this is already an absolute insane amount of firepower. I even decided to forego putting a fire wizard in this army to buff them up even further because it's already absolutely psychotic. So we'll see. We can always swap them out if we need to, though I fear that the enemy, well, I fear that we won't, in the sense that the enemy won't be able to handle this. Anyway, Tintla, you're good to go now. Did I give you a burger? I did. Okay, you're good. I should probably get some... We could give Lichbone Penance to the Wonder of the Age and Deliverance. Power those tanks up more, if we wanted to. Or we could... Well, yeah, that's probably a decent option. I'll think about it. There's several options. There's the War Banners as well, which power up melee and range attacks. Anyway, that was Tintla Kurt Helborg. You are still in need of your heroes, i.e. primarily Empire captains, both to lead the cav and to lead... Well, actually, primarily to lead the infantry, probably. Well, actually, it depends. We could do... I don't know, 3 units per hero. 2 infantrymen, 1 cavalryman, and you lead the rest of the knights? Something. I don't know, I'll think about it. We shall see. The Reiksguard army should primarily be all Reiksguard. But anyway, troop train, you... Oh, right, I was going to deal with this. Alright, so what we'll do is Gosser, we'll put you into trenches, we'll put you in camp right beside the place. And hopefully that auto-resolve won't screw us, but I will quick save just in case all the war wagons die, because the game is silly sometimes. Surprisingly no. And we got a Rune Fang out of it. Very nice, my friend. Especially considering this basic Rune Fang is better in terms of what it does than all the regular Rune Fangs. I guess it doesn't have an ability that, you know, like sort of debuffs enemies by like in a blob, meaning at the very least I think the Middenland Rune Fang, which has regeneration, would be better, and the Nordland Rune Fang, which has a sort of little mini area of effect damage ability. Those are better, but otherwise most of the Rune Fangs, for whatever crazy reason, don't confirm magical attacks, and they absolutely should, but the regular ones do. It's kind of bizarre is what I'm getting at. Anyway, Dragonfire handgun? No, you don't need that. What you do need, I think, is another engineer, though. An engineer and a fire mage. Can we build engineers here? No, we can't build war... Hey, we got another elusive tactician. Oh, that's fantastic. That is fantastic for probably any of the knightly armies here. Let's get you on field immediately so I don't forget you. An elusive tactician. Lots of knights to be buffing up by giving them devastating flanker. Alright, anyway, where were we? You, troop train. Go into trenches stance and then grab Bagayar's... Oh, I was gonna say Baba Yaga. Bagayar's fortress. And we're gonna auto-resolve again, though there are a bunch of enemy Norscan armies nearby. Let's hope this doesn't screw us over. No, still okay. Whoa. But it... Was he at full HP? Why did it take half of your HP and nobody else's? Oh, I know why. Oh... The Phoenix Pinions. Hey, domination campaign victory. Well, folks, that's it. Campaign's done, and goodbye. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, continue campaign. I usually ignore those things anyway. Lucky arrow. I'm a little bit surprised that we actually got to domination campaign victory. Damn, all things considered, pretty darn solid. Still a few things to do, I think. More armies to try out and screw around with, so yeah. So this guy's at 96 speed, which I assume is what happened here. Well, then again, these guys are at 99 speed. So why would you get hurt and they didn't get hurt? I assumed that the Phoenix Pinion was making these guys so fast that it's what was causing the problem, but apparently that's not it. So I don't know then. I guess the game just hates us. And by us, I mean the player, but anyway. Valmir von Rakov, you're fine. Siegfried, you are set to deliver stuff, but I don't want you suffering attrition while you do. So, I'd like you to go to the edge of this territory, and then these guys are supposed to leave your army to join Volki. Go here, and go here. There you go, and then I guess you can proceed in camp stance through Guardians of the Tarn, as we will be generating a proper army for you. Well, not you personally, because somebody else will be leading the army, but we'll need several armies to deal with the desert and to deal with Kugath as well. Alright, otherwise that looks good. Volki, proceed down here past Gustel Schneider towards the Shrine of the Mighty Flame, Tier 5 settlement, and belonging to Manfred. I'd like to bring down Manfred as well, as if we can catch him. Anyway, that was Siegfried. Where are you in the list, my friend? The list got pretty big. Once we are no longer recruiting, I'm probably going to delete all the recruiter armies just to sort of make that go by a little bit faster. Anyway, Marcus, go into trenches stance, and I'll give you 4 levels. That's not bad. Yes, we will want to... Let's see, we got Hunter's Snare, which is a pretty useful ability here. Also, we'll probably want to get you a...
Let's get this
a light mage, maybe? I'll think about it.
They will fall.
Master Survivalist will be quite nice because it gives us casualty or punishment and maxes it out. We could get, let's see, Executioner ability, replaces focus shot, so it's basically another powerful damaging ability. I guess we'll get that. Oh, right, you currently have Honest Steel. I was gonna say we should reset you, and I guess that still remains the case. But anyway, get Executioner for now. And then the rest of these guys will just level later, or I'll do it between the episodes if I remember. Anyway, you don't need these. I'm gonna auto-resolve this. No, don't trust it. Still don't trust it. War wagons. Alright, and I think we'll get rid of one of these Bretonnians and put the Hellblaster war wagons in his army, just because he needs siege attacker, and who knows if we'll ever get a dwarfen ally that actually manages to not screw themselves over, in the sense that most of the dwarfen allies have been doing atrociously poorly, and I really doubt anybody's going to get up to tier 5. But this thing... Let's got the Hammer of the Witches to put in somewhere, but anyway, Black Lines, War Wagons, Hellblasters. Yeah. It'll make the melee line smaller, which is a little bit concerning, but we can always get one of these back if we need to. Man, I hate to get rid of the... I mean, it is technically an Elector count state troop, but... Can we leave this? Oh, we can't. Alright, fine, I'm just gonna get rid of it. I was going to transfer it to this guy, but then this guy will just get killed out here by one of these guys, so now I'm just deleted. Whatever, it's all good. It's all good. We had plenty more of those where that came from. We have like 30 of them running around in different places. Black Lines, War Wagons. There you go. Now you can have Siege Attacker. And let's see. Valmir von Raukov is fine. Builder is fine. Recruiter Olden, I think we actually went past you. Gavin. Alright, I said you were going to sit still to wait for the mage to arrive. Kurt Holdorf, you are going to be fighting Valkia, so keep moving this way. Crusader Wilfric Ergiger, you're waiting for one more turn until your crusade, essentially, begins. And alright, that's near to the end turn, meaning we got to do two things. Building, diplomacy, and then end turn. I don't think we besieged anything, did we? I don't think so. Alright. First of all, where is you? Builder von Wolfen. Nothing to build at Middenheim as yet. I would like you to go right here to the edge of Krudenwald and build whatever you can here, including a common temple. That's the first time I didn't call it a temple of the minor gods. Good job, Ruinous. Anyway, then you're going to go to Brokel, or this province. And then we will build up this tier 5. And there we go. Makes it 3 turns in terms of the time. Then you will build stuff here at Middenheim and Selzenmund, I guess, to some degree. And then you're going to move back this way. In 5 turns, I'd like to see whether we can reach Fort Solace, because it's going to be a tier 5 upgradable soon. Anyway, let's do building. Shouldn't be as much as it once was Karoberg. Will we ever come down here? Probably not. Let's upgrade you. Oh, wow. 4,000. Nonetheless. Do it. Old North Road. Stedham, these can be upgraded to tier 5 once the reduce cost man gets here. Wizard Camp is here for you. Vissenland, yes. Nothing else is reducing the place's costs, so we definitely want the Wizard's Conclave, and ooh, we won't have room for the gunsmith here in Wissenberg. I mean, I guess we do have it in Nuln. I mean, we won't if we want to build a Grand Temple of Sigmar, and we probably should. We still do need capacities of these. I'm generally doing the Temples of Sigmar in the south, and then the Temples of Ulrich in the north. Where I remember, anyway. Let's... Oh, wait. In this place, we will reduce the costs. Costs are so minor that it probably doesn't really matter. At least in this particular case. Waldenhof, yes. Gisoro, we've got another one of these barracks to build. Northern Marches, Kessel von Raken. Let's get you that city, the old riding. Yes, to the foundry. And what else do we have here? River, Torpen. Those are expensive, but it is what it is. Never gonna get cheaper, as I've been saying, and you've got most of the stuff that you need. Lovely. That means you can go for a Shrine of Sigmar, and then it's our choice between another stable, though I think we have plenty of these in terms of capacity and don't really need them anymore, whereas Empire Captain capacity could still be of use to us, so let's do that. Blue Reach. Mage building, Vorbergland, yes, another one of these menageries. We've got Talabheim, reached the next rank. So definitely the paved roads, and I'm gonna say, yeah, public order is looking okay here, so go for the weaving house. Speaking of weaving houses, let's upgrade you, and then let's get 2 of the common temples. There we go. Golden Plain, Golden Lotus Ruins, yes, alright, so go for the Tailor's Guild, go for the Tavern, and then go for the paved roads. In theory, this should be replaced with a minor temple, but for now I think it's more critical that we have it down there, because we're probably going to be building an army or 2 more there as well. Town for Munzig. Yeah, alrighty, Lost Kypria, yes to the Clothier, Newland. Should we just upgrade this? You know what, I'll wait until we get Bola Hat. I'd also really like to get Isle of Wight so that we have this province. Oh, you know what? That's 4,000, we'll wait. It's not super critical there anyway. Oh, although we should use it to probably summon a mage. Okay, I'll do that in a bit. Wait, can you summon him? Yes, you can unlock hero recruitment. Mermidus Coast. You are collecting money, but you're to be traded. Mount Gunbad, you're to be traded. Cursed City. Lamia, you are not to be traded, so let's get those spices. And that's spicy. Mirror Moors. Glimdwaro. Oh. You are getting ready to be upgraded. Switch to Council of Burgomeisters. And we'll reduce costs maybe if we can get here. I don't know. It's just not worth the investment right now, even with the amount of money that we have. Komar and Stone Mine Tower. Yeah, probably going to be trading that. Not a guarantee, but it's a possibility. Ooh, yes, one of the newer territories. Money, and... let's go with public order. And then more money after. Red Face Stronghold. Probably not going to keep a hold of you, but let's build the trade good thing, at least for a while, to get a little bit more cash. Deravan Libra, we are probably going to trade you in a second. Eric Hearn. Yeah, keep building up. Oh, if you're wondering, between the episodes, it became apparent that while we couldn't trade Carrick Angazar for Kurzhafen, what we could do is trade Carrick Angazar for Carrick Hearn. And then hopefully, once we get Carrick Hearn up to tier 4, we can then just trade it for this. So I think that'll secure the entire province other than Bugman's Brewery itself, which we're just leaving alone. Anyway, Ekron, not investing in. Bordelot, no. Kirkungur to be traded. Massive Orcal, good. No need for any further upgrades. Well, unless we... you know what, I keep upgrading Black Chasm just in case. Burning Face Camp, I thought I checked you, but apparently not. Sunken Kernark. Go for the Cinnabarn Mine. We will be trading the place away to the Lizards, but we'll see if we need anything from the Lizards. We should, in theory, build the common temples here. But we'll see. If we could trade the main settlement before materials at sea runs out, that'll be okay. You're fine. We're not going up here, right? Yeah, no, we're not going up there. Now, Farling Keep, that's fine as well. Stinking Geysers, we are actually keeping this place. Well, the public order isn't as good as I would have liked it to be. -6, eh? But it will be generating decent cash, so I think we will keep that one. Don't collect the income here. 90 Cornate Corruption. Ooh. Place might rebel. We're just gonna have to wait and see. Soleil, we will be trading. Cliffs of Dawn. Well, let's do a training field here. Claw Coast. To be traded, river, whatever. To be traded, to be traded, to be not traded. Ah. How close are you? How many turns would it take you to get here? To the Pass of Stone? Probably a long time. I'm not sure it's worth it to... This isn't that expensive. This isn't that expensive. What else would we want to build here? Probably just a tap room for the public order, but then... Probably not going to collect much in the way of income here since this is single territory, so we're better off making use of the common temples and such, which at a single 3k is not so bad. Yeah, I don't think you're going to need to waste your time going up here. What about Axbite Pass? Not a priority. And then Doom Keep, obviously not a priority. Alright, there we go. Still have some money remaining, so there's 2 more things to do. Firstly, diplomacy. Let's see if there's anything good here. Remas and Maragliano don't care. Ooh, trade agreements with Addled Mines. The Slaneshi want to trade with us. It's amusing. Disciples of the Maw want to as well. Wow, 27 territories. Yeah, unfortunately for them, I fear that these ogres are going to be the target of our crusade. We could probably get a defensive alliance going with them, but I'd rather be friendly with the Lizardmen instead. Remas and Sylvania. And nothing here that's important by the looks of it, and we don't want to peace out with anybody we're fighting. Okay, so that's that for the diplomacy. What was the other thing I said I wanted to do? All right, we need to spend a little bit of our money on... Oh, right, actually, wait, we need several things. First of all, Empire Captains. We got a Champion, and we got a Bannerman. And we got Battle Wizards available, Demolition Expert, and Ammunition Apparatus Guy. I don't particularly like either of these, but the Battle Wizards... We will need one for Marcus, who does not currently have one, and we can now build one up here, though as to which lore I haven't yet decided, which is a problem. I'm pretty sure we needed other Battle Wizards and then an Empire Captain in several locations. Oh, I know, we could do an Empire Captain for you. Colt? Let's do one somewhere ahead of you, like here. Oh, we can't build captains here. We can't put oh, for the love of... We do want an engineer for you, though. And you might actually want ballistics. Wait, do you have any missile block when you're on the Imperial Griffin? You do not. Alright, we'll just get you whatever engineer then. Well, let's do the ammunition guy. He will never... they never run out of ammunition anyway, so it's kind of a useless trait, but I don't see any of the other traits being particularly useful anyway.
Engineer.
As in, of those particular traits. Do we have any... Oh. I guess we'll have to build this guy here then. Alright, well, we'll leave it alone. Unless, wait, can we build one here? No. Can we build one here? Yeah, okay. I really need to get a greater number of those barracks. Admittedly, this was all traded territory, so it does make sense. Oh, I guess we could build one here and then land? Go down the river? Yeah, maybe we'll do that. Alright. Champion. Like so. Alrighty, and I believe we are good to go minus the state troops. Okay, so you stay here. Any state troops that we need to get the cooldowns on. You're starting to cool down. The rest of this is looking good, actually. Minus the Noble Sons Abroad, which we will actually want to get the cooldowns on. Let's get them up and running. Like so. And the rest can wait. Yes, there's several here. Well, you know what? Maybe one of the Knights of War. Let's do both Knights of War. There we go, just so I don't forget them. We have Knights of War in several other armies, so it's not a big deal as to whether we get a full stack for them, but just in case we end up doing so, I want to get those guys on cooldown. Anyway, I did potentially want another Stubborn Bull in here, but there's another army southward that will be using them, so I think we're good. Good to skip building upgrades, outpost upgrades. Actually, you know what? This one is probably worth our time. I want to take a look at the outpost and any potential missions. So you... Yeah, we'll want Kislevite units. You're being constructed. You will probably be needed. Okay, well, there goes all of our money. Giant's Causeway. Well, let's just hope that it survives, because we're going to build it here. I don't want to build this in Magritta right now, because I'm hoping to trade it away from them, so we're not going to do that. You guys... That's a good place to build this. There we go. Alabaster Tower, or possibly Libaris. I assume that you have an ally that is built as outpost there. Alright, fine, I'll do that. I don't think anybody is particularly likely to actually attack the place. Clan Angrand, you're fine. Ancestral Throng, you're fine. Ironbrow, probably gonna die. Yes. All of the Bretonnian stuff, because we're looking for a lot of Bretonnian stuff. Splintered Bone Camp. No, I wanted Granty Mingol. We just gave it back to you. Hopefully you can hold on to it. Darklands Bandits, we don't need the second tier. You're fine, don't need the second tier. You, I don't care about right now. Sterlands, and the rest of this I think is irrelevant. Other than possibly Arguelon, but we don't have a lot of allegiance with them anyway. Yeah, that's it. Alrighty, that lowered our income significantly. Well, not income, our current money reserves significantly, but that's all good. Skip. And I hope I didn't forget anything. End turn. Hey, Silastra will sally out. I am very glad to see it. Let's see how we do with a proper army against her. Since the last time we fought, we just had a bunch of, just a smattering of random troops. Go. All right, here we go. Ooh, and we immediately get hit by the enemy's various, I guess, ship abilities. Hellblaster volley guns, one of our units of spearmen, do suffer a fair bit of damage to that, and the enemy also has 3 mortars available to them, which are going to immediately start firing as well. Our own mortars will, and the various mortar shells sort of pass each other like mortars in the night, and we'll see which ones do the most damage. We're targeting the enemy artillery with our mortars, while their mortars are targeting our spears, which admittedly we do need. That said, the enemy mortar crews are pretty darn fragile, and a couple more volleys will see them all destroyed. The first one has been obliterated, the second one's down at half HP, and we got plenty of more mortars where that came from. The enemy mortars are also, let's see, out of curiosity, fire at a 11-second reload, whereas our own mortars, with all the buffs that we have from our marksman commander Lord, fire at 4.0 seconds, as fast as Hellblaster volley guns, the max speed for at least artillery, probably range units in general. Which makes them some pretty darn devastating mortars. And there we go, very nice. Enemy mortars are clear, and it looks like the AI is actually waiting rather than moving towards us. Now, there is a reason that it is doing this, and it's because the reinforcements are actually going to move in behind us. We're trying to do as much damage to the enemy here as we possibly can with all of our units. Hopefully, basically critical damage before the enemy's second stack arrives. It's nice to see all those Hellblasters firing away with the help of our mortars here as well. Obviously, this army would be much stronger if we just replaced all of the spears with Null Ironsides, for example. We have sufficient range firepower in this particular army not to really need the melee, but I like it this way. It keeps the battles interesting. And we had a pretty great fight with this army against the Red Duke. Admittedly, it did involve moving us closer to the enemy in terms of our deployment, but, well, here we're deployed between the 2 enemy armies, so it's as fair as it's gonna get. We also obviously don't have any rocket batteries here, so we can't clear out droves of infantry nearly as well as we might like. Ooh, and it looks like a little bit more damage to another unit of Hellblasters with those army abilities. Silostra's down to about half of her HP. One of the Hellblasters has been firing away at her this entire time. She does have 30 physical and 15 missile resistance, which is pretty decent. But the Hellblasters do a pretty crazy amount of damage. Looks like with the reinforcements having arrived, the AI will wait no longer and is now moving towards us, and we've now had to reorient our army to fire in both directions. 2 of our Hellblasters and all 4 of our mortars will fire at the reinforcing army, specifically to bring down the enemy's reinforcing mortar, which is in the middle of a pile of trees here. And it looks like the trees are hiding it fairly well, giving it a longer time to fire upon us, while the rest of the mortars try to fire upon the enemy handgunners as well. Our Hellblasters will go after the Crabby Boys, or whatever monstrous infantry we can find. It does look like an enemy unit of bomber deck droppers has directly head for Zizka's Revenge here, one of our mortar war wagons. And we're going to move Waldemar in to try to intercept them. And they are fragile. Kind of an interesting use for them from the AI. Not a smart use in my opinion. Granted, they did stop the grenade units from firing, but at the same time, their own grenades, those bombers, weren't firing either, and grenade deck droppers can be pretty devastating with even a volley or 2. Just like any grenade unit, really, especially against piles of spears like we have. Anyway, looks like the enemy Vampire Fleet Captain has nearly been defeated by our own Empire Captain here, while the enemy reinforcing army is in pretty bad shape. The bounce power remains at about 60% in our favor, however, as there's still a fair few zombies moving towards us from, well, really both directions. And it's kind of hard to look at this battle in the sense that since the enemies attack us from both sides, we can't really see a front line. Still a pretty cool fight, as this doesn't happen too often, especially with an army like this, which is largely artillery, and then the units that protect the artillery. Probably a very dangerous situation for the artillery to be in. But hey, we're still in the fight. The Hellblasters are still bringing down those big boys here, the animated Hulks. And then the other unit of animated Hulks is being held back by Valdemar. All right, there we go. Now we've switched some of the mortars to fire in both directions, so we got mortars and hellblasters firing at both armies at once, while our spears continue to protect the lines. And it looks like most of the enemy zombies are out. It's going to take a little bit of a longer time to work our way through all those sirens with all that massive physical resistance and the regeneration and the charmed attacks they have. And the fact that we can't really mortar them or anything without killing our own troops. But not to worry, we're going to help out a little bit by dropping Waldemar down upon them. And he does have magical damage, which we did rely on to deal with enemy Karen rates when he fought the Red Duke, so you definitely get a lot of good use out of it. Probably should put some magical damage on this Empire Captain as well for this situation, or for these situations for these particular armies. Maybe even a Lichbone Pennant on one of the artillery pieces, and just for critical targets. But anyway, with that, the battle is ours. The enemy will at last melt away, and it's a heroic victory as at that. I guess the auto-resolve was correct on this one, but it was still a very fun fight. Hey, another banner of swiftness, always a nice pickup. And there we go. It was a pretty cool fight, if I do say so myself, with the enemies arriving on both sides. They could, in theory, have crushed our army between their two armies, but fortunately for us, it didn't work out for them, as they weren't able to close the distance, or, well, really close the distance quickly enough to take advantage of that. 53,000 damage on the Earthshakers, living up to their name. 48,000 damage on the Bells of the Empire, and Ziska's Revenge gets 34,000 as well. A nice job. I don't think we... Oh yeah, we didn't name the Hellblasters in this army because I was originally going to send them to a different army, and I haven't decided whether that's still going to be the case or not, considering they're pretty far from... Well, not so civilization because they're in Britonia, but... well, yes, pretty far from civilization. You heard me. Occupy. Alrighty, there we go. No further attacks. Looks like defeated Silostra. Also gives that nice one to magic power reserve capacity plus 10, which would be even nicer if we had a mage in this army, so we should probably get one. There is a halberdier here that, while I have grown somewhat attached to, I admit, as originally was going to be deleted, so yeah, certainly room for a mage. Anyway, Creator, Disciplinarian, Sartorial's Everwatcher's destroyed, Settlement infected, Keratoman's Tomb, doesn't matter, it's going to be traded. Confederation, Karakazur, and Karazakarak. That's kind of interesting. Huh. Is that bad for us? Probably not. Alrighty, we'll ignore that for now. Pick through their shiny stuff, raid Karak Krum. I don't see us doing that. Hey, another tradesman. Lovely, and there we go. With that, folks, we're out of time. I'm going to call this episode here, and next time we will continue pushing through the mountains with Elspeth, looking to knock out Grimgor for good, moving up north to fight Chaos, like the armies of the Legion of the Gore Queen up here, and whatever other Chaos factions are up here. There's still a lot to do with Norska. There's Throt the Unclean, who is causing some havoc, especially with the help of the coveted passion of Slaneshi. Probably gonna have to build another army to send up here. Unfortunately, we do have a few armies on, well, ready to be constructed or even ready to be sent out, so we'll be pretty good. Advancing everywhere, continuing everywhere. Stay tuned for more Karl, long victory or domination victory or not. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.